Hey guys, Ryan Earnhardt here from CreativeSoundLab.tv. Well, today we're going to be going over some tests that I've done with the Soyuz Launcher Deluxe. You can see it in the front of the kit right there. And I have a whole mix that I've played through the Soyuz Launcher Deluxe. And so here it is. This is something that I've been waiting for a while. You can kind of see the size comparison between the Soyuz Launcher and the Soyuz Launcher Deluxe. And this is kind of cool. This is like a collector's thing because this is like a prototype, I think, of the original launcher. So I just think this is so cool. So it is a good bit different in size, but it's 2 channels, and you can run it line level. You can run it as a mic booster. It'll even pass phantom power to active ribbons, condenser mics. So this thing has a lot of uses. And so I did a fair amount of testing over the past probably 3 or 4 weeks now. And I also have a free download for you as well. So it's just some stems, like a stereo mix stem of the drums, the instruments, and then the bass guitar. And it's with and without the Soyuz Launcher Deluxe. So you can download that. You know, something like this, it's kind of hard to translate in a YouTube video because the video codec is actually MP3 for audio. So I actually could do a live stream with better audio by sharing a Audio Movers link and have studio quality sound. But for a published video, it's hard to really translate that because of the video codec. So if you want high quality audio, I'm going to just link to the files in the description. You can download those and check those out if you're looking at this Launcher Deluxe. So let's take a look at the underside of this box. So, I mean, right away, it's it's a little confusing, and I would say that the best way to use this box is to just read the bottom line of each of the options. So we have, let's see here, coming in here, we have the 1/4 inch or XOR input. So it's a combo jack. And then we have basically channel 1 and channel 2. And then we have the output channel 1, channel 2. So here I have it line level from the DAW. So I'm using 1/4 inch. I think you could use both 1/4 inch or XOR on line level. But the idea is that you read the instructions here. So switched up is Saturate Mode. And it has kind of some descriptions of color, no boost, active mics, or line in. So yeah, I'm not using this as an active mic, so it's almost confusing at first, of like, oh, which one do I pick? But okay, I'm using line in, cool, I switch it up, right? Or if I set this up in front of a drum kit with some condensers on overheads, the word active mic sticks out to me and say, okay, cool, I'll switch it up, okay? It is kind of confusing when you think of all the different uses that you can use this box, and it's like 5 or 6 applications in different scenarios. So what I do is I just look for the activity that I'm doing at that moment. I look for the word. Okay, I'm using it as line in, I'll switch it up. If I'm using it for passive mics, okay, I'll switch it down, So yeah, we have Saturate Mode and Launcher Mode, which is really similar to the original, okay? It's going to, give you a boost. I think it's 26 dB. But yeah, color. Oh, it's written right there on it. Yeah, 26. Yep, sure enough, 26. So that's a pretty good bit of gain. If you're on an interface, let's say you have an SM7B and you are talking into an interface, your gain is going to be probably 3 or 4 o'clock on your preamp volume knob, right? You add one of these launchers, your gain is going to be about 10 o'clock. So you'll have a lot less gain that is required to get a usable level, and thus less noise. So it's kind of like building in a preamp that is, in between your mic and your interface. You're basically upgrading that channel pathway. So yeah, This is a lot of really cool uses here, okay? Now, one thing I tried is to use this in line level mode, but then use it in launcher mode. And I used the interface behind me, which is the Focusrite Claret Plus 8 Pre. And the preamps are so clean on it. In fact, it's the same circuit as the line input. So it's designed as an incredibly, very clean preamp. And so I felt good doing this. And so I actually went line input and then powered it. I used it in launcher mode. I turned on phantom power, and I used this as a booster box for line level. So I actually had to trim my output down quite a bit, but I was able to actually saturate this and actually exaggerate what it's doing to a mix. So we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, really, really cool. A lot of fun to use. Let's hear a little bit of it. So here we have, let's see here. Overhead mic, Soyuz 13, the FET. So it's phantom powered. And we have a phantom powered kick drum mic. So I figured, hey, I'll use Soyuz and keep it in the family here. Although I do have a ribbon mic coming up here. So we have first up with the Saturate mode with active mics. So it's passing on phantom power to the mics. So basically what we're doing is we are doubling up on the Soyuz flavor here. You know, we could Soyuz a mic by using a launcher, right? And it kind of gives this nice kind of, I don't want to say crispy, but it's really nice, pleasing top end that is a little bit saturated. It's a little aggressive, but not at all in a bad way. It's not like a cheap condenser mic kind of thing. It's like a very kind of almost a sheen to the sound. And you'll hear it if you use like the M201 with the launcher, the SM7B with the launcher. You'll hear some of the mid-range qualities of the launcher with a 635A, particularly on guitar amp. And I've actually experimented with putting a launcher pre and post a inline pad. So I actually pad it before the launcher and then pad the launcher, kind of negating its boosting qualities just to see what it'll do. And you actually can saturate the launcher just with a mic in front of a really loud guitar cabinet. So yeah, anyways, we are basically doubling up. We have a Soyuz mic and we're going through the Saturate mode launcher Deluxe with the phantom power passing through, so no boost. Okay, so I'll go kind of back and forth, okay? So this is with, and we can see here that this is, there we go. This is without. So I have my cables joined. It's sitting on top of the launcher Deluxe. So right here are the two cables. They're bypassing the launcher Deluxe, okay? Okay, so here is with and then without. With. With. So that's interesting. It actually sounds like the Launcher Deluxe is kind of reducing some of the crispy highs out of that 13 FET. So that's interesting. I kind of pictured that it would always add some top end, but it's actually interacting. I actually really like it because the 13s are like right on the edge of what I feel comfortable with overheads. In fact, I love the Omni capsule of the 13s. Like seriously, it's probably the best combo. The cardioid with the 13 tubes, and then the Omni with the 13 FETs. I love those two combos, and it just has a really warm sound. Here we have cardioid with the 13 FETs, so it is a little bright, but in a nice way, and it actually tames the high end just a little bit. Okay, let's move on to something else. You know what? Let's hear that kick drum. So we have the bomblet, the 023 bomblet outside of the kick, and no pad. And so I've learned that if you use the pad that's built into the bomblet and you turn off twist off the capsule, it doesn't quite saturate the mic. And I didn't know that you could do that, but it'll saturate the mic. If you leave the pad off, pad it at the preamp instead. That's the secret. Okay, let's check this out. First with, and then without. Yeah. So you can hear that it's a little more punchy without the Launcher Deluxe. It's a little more saturated and compressed with the Launcher Deluxe. So that's actually quite nice. It is very subtle. That's why I have those downloads of the stems. And I'm using that term correctly because, it's not raw tracks. It's actually kind of a submix of just the drums. It is stems, and just to kind of keep the file size down. But that way you can hear the high quality audio. So if you're not hearing this, definitely check out those files. But it is fairly obvious here in person. It definitely sounds more compressed, and you're getting that kind of saturation from the transformer. Okay, let's hear it on some ribbon mics. No launcher. Yeah, so same kind of thing. A little bit more punchy, a little less compression. So yeah, it's subtle, but it's definitely there, and that's why I did the next experiment with the whole band mix and stuff. So one last thing on the drums, and what I did here is, let's see, I did 2 passes through the Launcher Deluxe, and I did it both on the launcher mode. Well, no, not launcher mode, saturate mode. Because saturate mode will allow phantom power to pass through. So it actually goes through channel 1 and then loops back around, goes into channel 2 with just a 1-foot cable, and then out back to the mic. So this is a 13 FET, and I'm going through 2 channels of the Launcher Deluxe. So that was no launcher there, and then this is with it. Yeah, so definitely more punchy. I thought that was an interesting experiment. I learned that from kind of the guitar guys that take, like a stereo delay pedal, go out of left into the input or right, and kind of make it extra crazy. So yeah, that was my test on drums. Let's check it out on a whole mix. So let's see here. What is this? Yeah, Break Right Through by Hustle Souls here in Asheville, North Carolina. HustleSouls.com. These guys are great, super cool to work with. So we did kind of a live tracking of this 6-8 months ago. I was able to knock out 6 tracks, and this is one of them. I did a kind of a breakdown going through the Launcher Deluxe, and I saturated it. So I ran it hot. I powered it. I ran it in launcher mode. So you actually do this technique with the original launchers. But I'm also going through, right now, through via line level, the Launcher Deluxe. So we should have some kind of exaggerated tones that we can hear, especially out of the snare, maybe guitar. Hopefully it'll sound exaggerated, but I also can show you the entire mix with just the launcher being used line level, which is great. Because, how the heck would you do that with the original launcher line level? You have to figure out how to supply it. You're getting line level. How do you get it back in? Okay, so here's a little bit of that track.
Too far. You're gonna break right through.
Okay, so I didn't exactly explain what's going on there, but I wanted to do a little less talking. But so this midsection here, this kind of breakdown, that is with all the kind of saturation of the launcher. And then I have a whole mix going through the Launcher Deluxe here. Now this is not quite synced up. I kind of heard some phasing, so I'll go ahead and just do that now. There we go. So now I can kind of do a fade between wet and dry. I kind of started this song off in a weird spot, so let me kind of redo this here. And check this out. I'll take it totally dry, no Launcher Deluxe, and with Launcher Deluxe line level. And that's this right here. So I'm actually going out the red, white, going into here, and then back in.
If you're wanting some answers and you're needing a friend, you've been calling the doctors, 'cause the pain never ends. Yeah, you're lost and you're broken, searching around, saying which way's the right way when everywhere looks down. If you're down to your last smoke and your pockets are spent, and all that you're wanting is a nice warm bed, 'cause you're cold and you're tired, the wounds never mend. Which way's the right way whenever there's a dead end? Oh, honey, I'll be on your side. Oh, honey, I'll be on your side.
Yeah. So that is probably the more subtle way of doing it. You know, let me just see. I didn't plan on doing this, but let me just mute this. I'm actually gonna do the other technique. So I'm gonna put it in the launcher mode, and because this Focusrite Claret Plus 8 pre is very, very clean on the preamps. You know what? I can't do it because I don't have the right cabling here because I need to go XOR. Okay, never mind. I'll just have to show you in line level, but I'll have to show you the individual kind of cumulative effect of doing it, you know, 2 tracks at a time, because that's what I did here. So this is 2 tracks at a time through the Launcher Deluxe, and I saturated as much as possible musically. Some cases I could actually really push it, like the snare and stuff. So yeah, let's check it out.
Someday soon, you're gonna break right through.
Yeah, so I soloed a little bit of the elements there. Let me just check out maybe kick and a few others for you.
you're gonna break right through.
Yeah, so snare is one of those things where I'm just like, I'm just gonna let it really go, you know. And then I went back later and kind of added another clean pass. But you can see the difference. See here in the waves here. Yeah, you can see this one doesn't have nearly the transients as the one beneath it. So okay, now skipping ahead, let's just listen to the tonality. It's not a perfect comparison, but just listen to the difference in tonality. It just seems to have more space between the parts.
Yes, I will, ma. Yes, I will, ma. Yes, I will, ma. Oh, honey, I'll be on your side. Yes, I will, ma. Yes, I will, ma. Yes, I will, ma. Oh, honey, I'll be on.
Yeah, it definitely seems more saturated and full. I mean, the low end is actually pretty incredible. Man, I love this drummer. Got such a great pocket. Okay, so yeah, that's a bit on the Soyuz Launcher Deluxe. You know, you can use it in line level. You can actually use it if you have really, really clean preamps that can take the level. You can actually plug it into preamps, power the thing, and use it in launcher mode, right? You can color the sound of condenser mics. You can use it in launcher mode for ribbon mics and you know, other passive mics that you want to add some color to. So overall, this thing is great. I really, really like it. So, you know, again, like, you know, this really should be seen as a preamp, right? And so you're getting two preamps, and you know, I want to say this is around like $5.99. So, like, you know, that is a bit more than I was expecting because I'm coming from the original launcher. But then I found out that there's 4 transformers and there's op amps in here, and so it's like, okay, 2 preamps, so that's like $300 a preamp. That's a cheap preamp, you know? That's actually really reasonably priced if you think about it. But not only that, but you can use it as a coloring box for your whole mixes, drum bus, whatever. So whether it's right for you or not, you'll have to decide, but I've really put it through its paces to try to give you a feel for the sound. I think it adds a nice shimmer, but it saturates really nicely for low-end sources. Add some complexity to the high end as well. So yeah, let me know what you think of this. I'll talk to you soon.